Hello everyone, my name's Kitetsu and welcome back to my channel. So last episode I told you I wasn't really sure if I was going to carry this series on, but I enjoyed it so much that I sat there and thought, do you know what am I making these videos for? If they're not for me to be really enjoying myself, then basically my channel has no purpose. I'm not doing this as a job, I'm doing this as a hobby. It's making videos about things I absolutely love, and I really enjoyed making that episode. I really am enjoying finding out where this storyline is going. I'm deliberately not letting myself read ahead, so every time that I make an episode, everything that I'm reacting to here is the first time I've read it, to keep it really fresh and exciting for me. So last time we had a quick look at the sort of overall timeline so far. We went way back, like 8,000 years, to look at the time of dragons and the arrival of the old ones. So between, I would say, here and the year minus 5,600, everything has been in a relative peace, but then disaster strikes. So we are today going to be looking at the Great Cataclysm, and I'm actually going to split this across two videos because there is a lot of content to cover here. The first half is going to be looking at what goes terribly wrong and the battles that ensue. The following video is going to be covering the resolution and how things start to get a little bit better. So again, the focus of this video is definitely going to be Lustria and Ulthuan, which is this is the land of the elves, and this here is where currently the old ones, the Lizardmen and the Slann, are currently residing. So we were in a relative period of sort of tranquility and paradise. Everything was calm, everything was great. We had the old ones who'd created these new races. They'd given rise to the elves, the dwarves, man. We had the Slann and the Lizardmen. Everything was going great. They had these amazing portals at either end of the planet, and they could use those to kind of teleport between realms. But we sort of suggested this last time. It was those portals that started to make everything go wrong. Now, those portals opened into the realm of chaos, and at that time there was nothing really physically there, but there was this kind of presence there that really objected to the fact that the old ones were traversing through it. And just as everything seems like it's going to be an eternal paradise on the old world, everything goes wrong. Now, no one knows why exactly things went wrong, what the trigger point was, and you know, you're going back 8,000 years, so there's no one really left to tell this story. But basically, these two enormous portals, one at each pole of the planet, just explode, and it is catastrophic and devastating to the world. We're talking about continents being flattened, absolute devastation, comets just raining down on the planet, burning fireballs of death, killing anything in their path. It is absolutely horrendous. Now, in the 7th edition lore, it says that there's even a possibility that these explosions and the closing of these gates was actually caused by the old ones themselves, because maybe they realized that in the realm of chaos, something really was beginning to take shape, and basically a threat like nothing else was being born. But one way or another, these gates explode, utter carnage and devastation happens. We've got boiling seas of chaos spreading as far as the eye can see. Where one of the gates explodes, a massive lump of chaos rock, which is known as warpstone, flies into the sky, and that gives rise to Morsleb, which is the chaos moon. That thing looks pretty awesome in this artwork. We've got Slann mages who are desperately trying to contain the damage and stop the destruction. You know, these explosions are so bad that it's actually threatening the destruction of the entire planet. And hundreds of these Slann actually end up giving their life to prevent the planet from blowing up and being destroyed. And you have to remember from the last episode that these Slann are insanely powerful and gifted magicians. And they're also able to tap into their massive network of magic that's surrounding the planet. So if hundreds of these things died to contain the explosion, it really is putting into perspective just how bad this situation is. But unfortunately, before they can quite close these portals, just before they do, 1 billion creatures burst out of them, and this is the first demonic invasion of the old world. Before this Great Cataclysm, which is also known as the Coming of Chaos, these demons basically didn't even exist. But with this disaster, demons were basically given life and form by the nightmares of mortals. So these horrifying twisted creatures have suddenly burst onto the planet. They're a threat like the old world could never even have imagined, let alone seen before. They're twisted, they're vile, they spread corruption everywhere they go. And this is the beginning of basically everything going horrendously wrong. The world is left in a state where it's already in total carnage from these two massive explosions, but on top of that, the old ones are now nowhere to be seen. Perhaps they died in the explosions, maybe they ran away back into their own realms, maybe they were destroyed by the coming into existence of the demons. Basically, no one knows at all. But one way or another, we're suddenly left with the planet with no help from their gods. There's chaos, there's confusion. Hundreds of the most powerful sorcerers on the planet, the Slann, are dead, and they are being overrun and overwhelmed by these evil creatures. On top of that, we've still got meteors pummeling the surface of the continents. Everywhere they touch, there's destruction, mutation, taint is spreading across the lands. Everywhere these comets hit, because they're made of this chaos rock, this warp stone, they're causing chaos to spread and become stronger. And this, unfortunately, is where two of the worst races end up appearing. Up to this point, we've had the orcs. They're no pushovers, you know, they're a force to be reckoned with. But now the mutations that start happening on this planet as these rocks smash into the ground gives rise to the Beastmen, and quite literally they are the result of mutated humans turning into beasts and beasts becoming more human-like. But also the vile rat creatures, the Skaven, start crawling out from under the ground. You've got demons, you've got beasts, you've got monsters, you've got rat creatures. Everything is looking about as bad as it possibly could. Now fortunately the world didn't just roll over and give up, and in the most part that is thanks to the Lizardmen. The Saurus warriors are trained to basically defend the old world. They are really tough, they're battle hardened veterans, they're used to dealing with orcs and the monsters that were there left over from the creation of the continents, so they begin to fight back. This artwork is absolutely amazing. It shows a greater demon of Tzeentch, one of the 4 chaos gods, engaged in a magic battle with a Slann. Meanwhile, the Saurus warriors are battling the servants of Nurgle, one of the other chaos gods. But yeah, the lore describes paradise being turned into hell. In Lustria, the Slann mage priests basically end up turning their homeland into the most deadly sort of forest you can imagine, where every form of life and every plant and tree has been given new purpose to try and kill and rip apart anything that it can find, just to make it that much harder for these demons. And they are losing tons of cities within these first few days of the fighting breaking out. But for every city that's fallen, there's another one somewhere that is desperately fighting back and clinging on to hope. But in Ulthuan, the island where the elves are, there is also chaos ensuing there. The elves are having it particularly bad. Unlike the Lizardmen and the Saurus warriors, they are not prepared for this kind of battle. They're a kind of dexterous, gracious race. They're more suited to hunting and the likes of that kind of activity rather than all-out warfare. And these chaos demons arrive on their shores and start tearing them apart. Now, this is when their saviour appears to them, Anarion, who's described as a tall, lithe and strong, peerless warrior. And really, this guy is the elf that saves them from total annihilation. He decides he's going to be the defender of Ulthuan. He rallies the elves into this sort of defensive stand. And the turning point is when he goes to one of the shrines of the elves and he's praying for power so that he can overcome these demons, and nothing's happening. He's burning offerings in their sacred flame, and still all of this is being unanswered. So in total despair, he throws himself into these flames. And even though he's in absolute agony, like this is horrendous, he's feeling the pain of being burnt alive essentially, but he survives the ordeal, okay? He comes out of the flames unscathed in spite of that pain. And this becomes a symbol to the elves. It's a symbol of his undeniable purity and his right to rule. Not only that, but he has been imbued with an incredible power. So what does he do? He ends up going on a warpath with his spear. He's shredding through these demons. He heads straight for the demon king and literally kills him in a single thrust. He ends up building an enormous army of elven followers. Like, this is a really impressive battle host. There are hundreds of dragons that rally to his cause. Remember, dragons and elves both have a strong affinity to magic, so they were going to be natural allies. He's clad in this legendary armor that's been forged at the so-called Anvil of Vol, and essentially he is like a living god of war. He has so many dragons rallying to his cause that the skies are described as coming alive with dragons. So really, the survival of the elven race can be totally attributed to Anarion. The problem is, however, the demons of chaos have a billion warriors, whereas the elves have a substantially smaller amount. So whilst they are wreaking havoc on the demons, they're pushing them back, they're defeating them at first. Slowly the grind starts to go the other way. The demons are relentless, they're nearly limitless in number, and slowly the elves start to get crushed again. And unfortunately for Anarion, he ends up losing his wife, the Ever Queen, and he loses his children. So again, we're left in a situation where the Lizardmen are being pushed back, the elves are slowly being crushed, even though they've rallied together in this defiant last stand, and everything is starting to look really bleak. Right, so I'm going to leave this episode here, right at the point of a cliffhanger where everything's in a desperate situation. In the next episode, I'm going to find out, because at the moment I have not even read the next paragraph, I'm going to find out how the elves managed to get themselves out of this situation, hopefully find out a little bit more about what happens to the Lizardmen, and then we will carry on our way through the lore. And of course, as we do that, we will also be building up this timeline. I can't wait for this to be complete. It's going to be a really fun project. Please stick around, please like the video. It would mean so much to me if you guys are on board with this series as much as I am, because I'm having such fun with it. But yeah, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Come and join my Facebook group, Kitetsu Warhammer Clan. If you would like to become my Patreon, I would be eternally grateful, but there is no pressure there whatsoever. And otherwise, I'm going to leave this video here, and I will see you guys really soon.